Oh shit, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing out there? This is Intergalactic Interviews, and this is episode 138. How you doing, folks? Are you having a good week? We're having a tremendous week. You know how I can tell? Because I haven't stopped drinking since the last time I talked to you. Fantastic, he says. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this right now, you're clearly aware that there are some major cool fucking things that are happening on July 21st, which is the Rocket from Russia Festival. And, of course, last week we had the amazing Isotopes and Evan October stop by. And today we have a gentleman who is dually amazing in so many different ways. And when I say dually, I mean plural. By plural, I mean multiple attempts and successes and achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, he's actually, I can say this. We've been friends for a while.
Yeah.
And your success is just knowing no bounds recently. Look at him. He's he's one of the best free agents in the game. Recently signed amazingly. He's so good. We love him. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Dan Garrison of The Corps and the Real McKenzies. Yeah. How'd you like that pop on the
Really
Z's?
great. I wouldn't stop. This is great.
Puff piece. That's good.
In my heart, I was like,
I listen to it when I try to fall asleep.
Yeah. Should I pop that? Should I pop that Z's at the end? How you doing, my friend?
Good.
I'm so happy to have you on the show. C-Mart and I were talking about this last week, rolling into this, and we're like, it's going to be fucking fun. I've been stoked for this, like, basically circling the calendar since we booked this, so I'm pretty fucking excited.
Awesome. I'm honored.
Before we get going, though, I think we should let everyone know about an amazing opportunity. First one I think I would let everyone know about is the fact that if you are available to check out a computer or maybe a handheld device, any kind.
Still a computer.
Yeah, we're not too worried about that. You can check any kind you like. I would go over to floathouse.ca. Why would I do that? Because that is the premier isolation tank destination in the lower mainland and now Northern America, I could say, because we're actually expanding. And I say we, I mean them. Expanding into
Big
Washington
Show is there.
State. Yeah, it's amazing. And Alberta. And oh my God, we're growing. It's amazing, folks. You will love it. What I'm really trying to tell you, though, is it's an amazing experience. What kind of experience? Isolation tanks. What is that? Well, it's simply the ability to unlock the mysteries of your mind. What? Okay. Or
it does help with that.
It does, yeah. or you could just relax. You could definitely just relax if you want. If you want to just relax in the tranquil nothingness that is blackness and just totally absorb your mind and focus on my voice and send me your PIN number.
They're not in a tank right now.
I think I'm being hypnotized.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on here? Just focus on, and you're falling deeper and deeper into sleep. But seriously though, it's like a spa for your mind. It's so cool. It's like one of the most tranquil experiences you can do. And for 90 minutes, you sit there and totally relax. All walks of life do it. I float. We float. You should float. Check it out. Go to floathouse.ca. And our listeners, if you want to go ahead and take 20% off of your next float, all you have to do is use our podcast promo code. That's II podcast, lowercase I, podcast. That gets you 20% off your next float. What? That's an amazing deal. And actually, this is an amazing thing I just read today. This is extra special. If you go ahead in the month of July in 2017, in the future, does not apply to you in 5 years from now when you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they interviewed Dan Garrison. What the fuck? And you're like, yeah, bruh. When you look at this, this won't apply. But if you listen right now because you're on the ground floor, God love you, you know. But on this point, I will say if you spend $99, you get 3 floats. What? That's insane because floats are usually around $70. Ladies and gentlemen. So if you get 3 floats for $99, that's an insane deal. I would definitely go and check that out. That's even better than our
Plus,
podcast
isn't there like
promo
a
code.
float challenge right now?
There's a float challenge, and if you use all 3 of those floats in July, you could actually win a full year membership of unlimited floats at Float House. Do you understand how insane that is?
It's like a boat just floating all the time.
Boat that is floating all the time.
I thought the float challenge was like
I just repeat things.
how long you can stay in there.
That sounds dangerous.
It's amazing, and to be honest with you, I'm like super. I'm just super happy that they're a part of this. So that being said, go to floathouse.ca, use our podcast promo code, or take advantage of their 3 floats for $99 deal. You won't regret it.
Can they combine them?
I don't believe you can combine it because that
Does
would
the promo
be
code
greedy.
use for
That's
those
what I'm
3?
wondering. I don't know.
Sorry, what was that, Dan?
Does the promo code use for those 3?
I don't know.
No, I don't think you can combine those combinations. If you do that,
Only one offer at a time.
the float house will close. And none of us want that. Jesus.
No.
But seriously, that is a matter of business. But other than that, we already mentioned Rocket from Russia. But if I can just take a moment and snap my fingers and play this ad and special message from Tim, Russian Tim himself, I'll do that right now.
Hello, 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 this is Russian Tim and I'm here to tell you about Rocket from Russia Fest, which is happening in Vancouver on July 21st and 22nd at the Media Club. This fest is a celebration of local punk rock scene and it will feature 12 great bands: Isotopes, You Big Idiot, The Corps, Contra Code, ATD, Elsmere, Anthems, Shockload, The Dead Hits, Scales, Anteater, and my band called Russian Tim and Pavel Boras. 2-day pass costs you $20 and is available for purchase at myshowpass.com/RocketFromRussiaFest, and single ticket is $15. Rocket from Russia Fest, July 21st, 22nd at the Media Club.
Nothing's fine, I'm torn. I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel. I'm cold and I am shamed, lying naked on the floor. Illusion never changed into something real. Wide awake and I can see the perfect sky is torn. You're a little late. I'm already torn.
Wasn't that amazing?
You can hear it. in
Russian Tim. I know. It's so good. Isn't he the fucking best, though? Seriously.
I do like
Super
Russian
rad.
Tim. Is he coming on?
He's supposed to come do probably the week after the festival, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what the plan is. I got to check the schedule to confirm that. But he's supposed to come on in a couple weeks. But Rock from Russia Fest is going to be amazing. But there's been some pretty amazing stuff going on right now in your life that does not involve Canada. You just came off like 4 months in Europe, right?
Well, we started in March, but that was Canada and the States. And
Oh,
then
how
we-
could I forget this?
we
Because I
went to
actually,
Europe.
I actually know this because my older brother G-Tone drove that tour, right?
Absolutely. That was an awesome time.
G-Tone is a menace. I
When,
love him.
when
the
Evan
best.
October last week was like, he's like, yeah, I drove the Real McKenzies once. I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, it's an experience.
Yeah.
They love to enjoy themselves. And I was like, yeah, dude. And he's like, your brother G-Tone would probably do really well with that. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you gotta be the harbor master essentially and guide the ship and keep things going. How would you rate G-Tone's driving performance?
Driving was amazing.
Amazing.
Yep.
How would you rate his handling performance? And by that I mean group handling. Like, hey,
Group, like after the show's over,
we have to go here.
everybody's in their bunks.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, we're talking about something else.
Yeah.
No, it was great.
Great.
It.
Let's get a rating
You get
out of-
you get a bunch of people that are just pissed up all the time, and you can either handle it or you can't. No, G-Tone was great.
Luckily, G-Tone's from Kenora, Ontario, and he was like, hey, I grew up with this entirely my whole life. So that's no change or transition whatsoever.
There wasn't a super lot of like negative stuff that happened on the road, especially on that trip though too. So it was good. Like nobody went running off and couldn't find everybody.
Well, you've been with the group for like two years now?
Yeah.
So Real McKenzies, for everyone at home, you uneducated fucks, read a book. They are like probably the most popular Canadian punk band, this side of that side. SNFU up there. There's like some
Propagandy.
No
right? Means no.
No means no. Well, you're a humble guy, so you're
SNFU.
obviously. I think I started this with SNFU.
I'm
Anyway,
going to say SNFU one more time.
okay, and Chai Pig. Well, it's just fucking okay. Obviously, the names are like big out there, but you guys are seriously like how many years now? Like three decades? Is it
25 years.
25
this
years.
year.
25 years this year. 25th anniversary,
Yeah.
right? I said 3 decades, but I just know it's going to go forever. That's why.
Yeah.
The idea though behind the band is that it's like this Celtic themed group.
Yep.
And this year, I was like, oh, G-Tone, you're driving Real McKenzies. That's going to be pretty wild. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's going to be fun. And then I looked at the schedule, and I was like, wait a minute, are you guys performing on St. Patrick's Day? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck was that like? What do you remember this year's show on St. Patrick's Day?
Do I?
Yeah.
I was doing double duty with the Isotopes as well, too.
Really?
Yeah, so, I mean, I was still drunk, but I wasn't like me happy drunk. So, like, I still drank all day.
Yeah, working
but
drunk.
I had to play 2 sets. So, in between, as soon as the Topes are done, I throw on my kilt and then just hit the stage again.
Fuck yeah.
So I got
dude.
fucked up after, but I didn't black out until after the show.
Just so tragically.
Next time, for all those disappointed alcoholics that are listening, I get it, and I'm sorry.
I totally get it. You know, you guys try your best out there. You can only drink so much. And that's fine. Yeah.
You can't drink all day unless you start in the morning. That's a fact.
Have you been drinking all day today?
Yes.
What were you drinking today?
Vodka and root beer.
Vodka. Can I ask why root beer and vodka? Because that's not a usual Orthodox choice.
Well, I was doing a bunch of stuff just around town today. And,
Drugs. Stuff is drugs.
Well, agree to disagree, I guess.
Okay.
No. And there was an AW there, and I was like, I got this Mickey of vodka in my backpack.
Can I get a cup of ice? Yeah, that's
It worked. It was amazing.
that's pretty sweet.
It was great.
I've never had vodka and root beer though.
I don't know if I have either. It was awesome.
I used to put there used to be like green slushy at a Shell station.
You mean Slurpee?
No.
I call them slushies too.
Really?
Slushies, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Slurpees are like go back to
I mean,
Springfield.
it's a trademark
you fuck.
term, but
yeah. Go back to Springfield. Or is that a squishy?
Squishy.
Oh, fuck, I don't know what the fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Come
guys.
on, man.
What kind of fucking show is this? Third rate, second overall. The award-winning Intergalactic Interviews.
You can't mess up Simpsons stuff.
The award missing.
The award-missing Intergalactic Interviews. What I was gonna say though is I tried this like green Slurpee slushy, whatever the fuck.
Allegedly.
And,
Does that make you happy?
It makes me feel a little better.
That's good.
that and tequila? And I was like calling it the Incredible Hulk. 'Cause it just brings the monster out of you. You're just like you get
it like
fucked up.
Like Lime Crush or something?
I must have been. I'm thinking it must like Mountain Dew, but maybe not. I don't
That's
know.
the first time I ever drank was gin in a Slurpee.
First time
The
ever.
first time I
gin is
ever
awesome.
How old were you?
I don't know, like 16, 17. I was a late
You were a
starter.
late bloomer.
Yeah,
A little bit.
but I don't recommend it. Gin and a Slurpee.
Gin and a Slurpee.
I think I'm more amenable to gin now, but at the time I really did not like gin.
Are you?
I love gin.
You love
Yeah.
gin?
Yeah.
What's your favorite gin?
Victoria gin.
Victoria. We had Philippe Grambois on here, and he's a good friend of ours, a friend of the show, and he had he's like a really, really successful like restaurant bar developer. He's like
Okay.
opened like 36 different restaurants. Good guy, and he just recently won like the Georgia Strait Best Bartender. And,
Oh,
like,
nice.
and we're like, hey, where can we find?
Where
you?
does he bartend?
Right. I was like, where can we send people to get you a bar? And he's like, oh, at this point, you'd have to like hire me in your home. So,
He's like a bit of a he was a bit of a mercenary.
Yeah, it's total mercenary, like drink mercenary. But he slanged us drinks here,
So he's like Alfred from Batman?
just like a hey y'all. Yeah, he's totally like an Alfred from Batman. Yeah,
That's
Just
awesome.
like this hey y'all you brought me, and I think you brought PBR for C-Mart and yourself, right? And what are you drinking? Hey,
whatever the next grab
Whatever-
is.
I love that it's a rando grab out
Yeah.
of the bag.
You got to mix it up.
Thank you very much for bringing drinks. I can't believe our guest.
I'm
is
just glad we're
bringing us
allowed to
drinks.
drink in here.
Can we do
that kind
whatever?
of worried me.
Do whatever we want. It's okay.
That's one of the reasons I was drinking all day.
I'm a big
One of
fan.
the reasons.
I'm a big fan of asking for forgiveness after, and rather than asking for permission.
Just in general.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, like I didn't know. To fit the motif, Trying my best.
That's why you buttoned up your collar.
That's right. I was like,
Because
this
you're
is
going to
getting
ask
serious.
someone's dad if
Yeah.
that you can take their hand in marriage
I'm like,
today.
will you understand me when I ask you the serious question that poses itself to you? That's
yeah.
why, yeah. I am actually engaged.
Congratulations.
I am engaged. Thank you. I didn't say that.
Did you
to
wear that shirt?
I did not wear the shirt. I wore a similar shirt. I wore a blue one like this.
Okay. Well, then that's
I'm a
okay.
trendy
I was going
fuck.
to say you should wear that shirt.
Do you think I'm a trendy fuck because I wear?
I'm just glad that collar's up. You gotta.
I don't want anyone to look at my neck.
Oh no, neck is no go.
No, that's not the real reason. Yeah,
I wonder what the phobia of that is called.
No neck.
Viewing of your
just
neck.
like
Would you mind looking that up,
Like
C-Mart?
not looking at.
could try.
You don't like people looking at.
That's
your
an odd
neck
one.
Or like somebody.
I don't know if that is a thing. Could be.
We're gonna look
It's
this
got
up.
to be a thing.
Yeah, you look
Yeah,
that up
you're
right
right.
now, and we'll check that out. In the meantime, Dan, when was the first time you had a drink? We were talking about C-Mart earlier, starting at
First time ever?
16. Yeah, when was the first time you had a drink?
Like really, like drank to drink away from prying eyes, because like
Drink away from prying eyes.
Well,
this is such a dark story already.
I'm an alcoholic, not a Barbie doll. You know what I mean? No, my sister's. I have an older sister, and her boyfriend at the time. We were driving back from my grandmother's house.
How old are you?
14.
Okay.
And anyways, we're just driving back, and he was going into the liquor store, and he's like, "Do you want something to drink?" I was like, "Yeah, I want something to drink."
Of course.
Thinking I'm super badass. He's like, "Okay, well, what do you want?" And I was like, Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously that name had been kicking around our, junior high for a while.
Yep.
And now that I'm in high school, I
Yep.
think it's time. And so he got me this 4-pack, and I had 3 of them, and I got completely hammered. But like in the best way. Like I didn't throw up. But I drank them so fast.
Yeah, of
It
course.
was just
Because you're used to slamming Coca-Colas. And you're like, fuck, here we go.
no problem.
Can I be honest with you? My first drink ever, I was 13, and I was also drinking Mike's Hard. That was my first time. Yeah, fuck yeah. That was so...
Wow.
I had no idea we had that moment.
This is what sharing's all about. This is how friendships last a
This
lifetime.
is how you forge the bonds of brotherhood.
I
I also did the same thing. I was like, let's get something really crazy. I was like, well, this one has the hardest name, Mike's Hard Lemonade. And they're like, oh, it's got to be gangster. And I'm like, yeah, they showed up. I had no idea. It was maybe the most effeminate drink to come out in the last 20 years.
It's something.
Can I tell you this right now? So, hey, y'all, this is just iced tea to me. I don't taste anything but iced tea to it. But I know it's liquor infused. It's a fusion drink.
That's where I got you again. No booze in there, in your face.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I'm just
You're
kidding.
like, I'm the kid acting drunk. I'm like, whoa, guys, it's getting crazy.
Whoa,
in here.
man.
Whoa, I can see.
Do I look pretty to you?
Yeah, man, the walls are growing weed, bro. It's like that's like too.
They are here though.
Yeah, they actually are. Though, so I feel like. No, we're not. Please do not look. Anyway, that being said, wait, did you look that up?
Yeah, so it's not a thing. There's
How can it not be a
there's
thing?
there's a fear of being touched, but not of people viewing. Like I think it'd be a fear maybe of being seen.
Is this
naked.
live on camera? Can people see this? right now?
No, but on this phobia page.
Okay, what does this say? Can you just flip to this page real quick?
Oops.
Oh, sorry.
Good job, us.
This is a new technique, folks. Here we go. So this is like live on the page, yeah?
Yeah.
So what does that see?
No, there's no like
Fear of pleasure.
There's no neck thing related here.
That's weird.
But like,
But it'd be in Latin, so what's your neck?
What about like vampire survivors though? What about that?
Oh, just a hard
What
left
if that's
you on this.
what if it's like
vampire fear.
no, like but a fear of because of their neck because they've been bitten by a vampire.
vampire
you know what I mean?
phobia is called sanguivorophobia.
Yeah.
Sanguivorophobia. What does that say? Let me read it. Sanguivorophobia is the fear of vampires. The name literally means fear of blood eaters, since vampires are blood-eating creatures.
Don't they drink it?
Symptoms of sanguivorophobia are dread.
Call it sangria.
Symptoms of sangria drinking.
Fear of sangria. I don't know.
Yeah,
If
are
that's gotta be a
dread,
thing.
terror, and
Makes sense to me.
panic. The symptoms tend to be more severe in developing countries.
Just eat a lot of garlic, you'll be fine.
Why on earth would it be more severe? Is that because like
Transylvania?
They're just like not educated to know that like, hey, guess what? This isn't a thing. Like, like you don't have to worry about it. You're like, no. That's why they call her up. That's why I'm worried. I'm a sanguia for
You're sangria, that's why that collar's up there. I get it, man.
Dude, it's
well,
a
why
lot.
didn't we meet in that's why
We
we're
just came
meeting
off
in the
a-
day.
we just
That's
came
why
off
we're
a long
meeting in the
weekend.
day.
That's why I meet during the day. Day walker. I don't want any chance of ever being bit.
How's the drink situation?
I could fucking rock another one if you got another one going here.
C-Mart?
Dan
Please.
Garrison, you're such a swell fella. People at home probably don't even know how we met. We met through the lovely Lena Bennett.
Absolutely.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, she's great.
I produced her album, which is unfortunately just been sitting on the shelf ready to be released. It's mastered. Everything's ready to rock. And we can't release it because we're just, like her situation's pretty tragic, right? Like people at home that may not know, Lena Bennett is the sister-in-law to Ryan Morissette, who we've talked about on the show quite a bit. Lena's a very talented folk singer-songwriter.
She's amazing.
So talented. Such a beautiful performer, like amazing, talented writer. And in the midst of us recording, after we had already tracked everything, in the midst of mixing, she had got up one day, and the story she told me is she turned left, like just turned her head left, and she broke her neck.
Yeah, she like couldn't move, and she
like,
hit the ground.
Hit the ground and dislocated her jaw. Like awful situation. And then spent a great deal in the hospital. She was
there for months.
And it was pretty bad. And I mean, she had told me some crazy stuff, like to relieve the pressure on the halo they were providing her. They like took like a Black & Decker drill to her head. Like, she's like, you think there's like a surgical, like medical process to this? No, she's like, they just took like a Canadian Tire, like a impact drill and just drill her head. It's bad. It's fucking. So anyway, we had met because Lena had pulled you in to do some session work for like some guitar work.
That's right.
And I think right
Wasn't
away.
it around here?
It was a couple blocks from here,
Wasn't it
actually.
down
Yeah,
there?
my old studio here down at by the steam clock.
By the steam clock.
That's right. Yeah, I remember us having to pause like every hour on the hour.
I like that spot, actually.
Yeah, we had to wait for the steam clock to go. Do you remember that? Was like the steam clock would.
It's about to go.
It had a sweet rooftop.
By the way, I just learned the name of that on the weekend. Totally unrelated. That's the Westminster chime.
Oh.
Because it's based on the London, like the Big Ben.
Really?
Yep.
Is that the first clock to
I don't
do
know.
that?
I don't know if it's the first, but you know how the British are. They like to own everything. Watch this. Real McKenzie shows canceled in the UK after critical reception from Dan Garrison.
Fuck the Big Ben.
Fuck this. Yeah.
Fuck the Big Ben. You gotta hate something.
I'm just saying, the Eye of London, not very good. Dude, this is like, this is going out there. This is a third-rate show. You better wait.
Uh-oh.
Let me ask you, though, a couple questions.
Yeah.
So Europe must have been crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Was your first time over there?
Nope.
Look at this guy, well-traveled.
Yeah, well, not really.
What did the border guards say? They're like, look at your passport stamps. You're doing well for yourself. Yeah. They give you hassle. They're like, no, this guy's been here before.
We only got pulled over. We got pulled over twice. Once in France and once, I want to say Austria.
Okay.
But it was make sure there's no human trafficking going on.
Jesus.
That's pretty reasonable.
Sorry.
That's like honestly like
What the
full on being like,
fuck?
hey, passports, and a lot of them were really, really sweet about it. They're like, yep, we're just making sure.
You said Austria and France, but from your best memory, right? That's what it would have been.
I know for sure we got pulled over in France, but that was due to like they're doing, they see this black van with like German plates on it.
Right.
All the windows are tinted or whatever, and so they pulled us over there. They're like, we need to see what's going on.
I'd pull you over too. I'd be like, look.
Because we went to Paris that day, and then there was that thing that happened at Notre Dame. Like that day.
That day?
We went right by it about 2 minutes
shit.
after it happened.
The
It
Notre
was just this
Dame-
guy that being a fucking piece of shit, and he just got, so they shot him in the throat.
Jesus Christ. Was the Notre Dame one is that the car man, there's been so many, that's just how awful it is to hear about it from over there, but like the amount of terrorist attacks are so frequent in the volume that like I don't even know. The Notre Dame one, was that the one where the car ran over the bridge on people? Is that one, or
Nope.
the truck?
No, it was from me getting the information that day, because we went by there, and then and we went to the venue, and I think Buddy had like a knife or something, or was threatening a bunch of people and
Yeah.
just kind of like running around being an asshole. So they
Great
shot him,
job,
but he lived. They shot him in the throat. So
That's fun. Well,
it reminds me of a Simpson quote. Okay,
Nice.
it's the NRA one.
which one?
It's one of the best episodes ever. And,
one where
he's
Homer
like,
buys a gun?
my name. No, they go to the NRA meeting. Yeah, they go to the
Yeah.
NRA meeting. It's like, hi, my name is Mo S. So some young punk tries to stick me up the other day. No, whatever did you do? Well, it could have been a really ugly situation, but I managed to shoot him in the spine. I guess the next place he robs better have a ramp. And they all just laugh.
Most is like here.
So good.
I've always been the proponent that Mo is the best character on
He's
The Simpsons.
amazing.
He's the best, in my opinion.
Isn't he the most like unhinged though?
He's like, why, you don't like my bread bag shoes? Like, he's just like the best.
Oh, I get it, kids. It's my big ears,
My
isn't
big
it?
Well, kids, I can't help that. He's so good.
I don't know. Moses always closed on Tuesdays for some reason. And that moment, they realized they were no longer little girls. They were little women. Reading to the sick kids. It's wonderful.
Fucking love that shit, man. That's good. I love that you have such a good, well-versed understanding of
The Simpsons?
Of The Simpsons.
It's up to season 10. It's the greatest show that's ever existed.
I would have to agree with you. I think there's
What's it at now?
There's a one-off. It's 28 or 29.
Oh.
I think it's 29.
That sounds like 18 too many.
There was a couple good seasons after that, but I mean,
There was a
Simpsons
return to
proper.
form, was there not? Like for a bit.
I've never seen
Well,
anything.
Yeah, I just thought I heard that they kind of like came back. I like the older shows, but
Every October, the only ritual I have been trying to keep in the last few years is
Treehouse
that
of Horrors.
I watch the Treehouse of Horrors from beginning to the end of the month. So I get to watch like once a day. It's almost like my own advent calendar
Cool.
in a sense. And I
watch it once a day.
like well,
Give
I
me a
watch,
call. I'll
yeah.
come over. We'll do
Fuck
that.
yeah, bro.
That'd be awesome.
If you're not like, touring the planet like coast to coast.
No, well, I was gonna go as Evan October this next Halloween, so we'll see how that goes.
I'm actually supposed to go on tour in August. We're supposed to do Western Canada, myself and Mizzy.
Sweet.
This rap guy.
This rap guy.
This rap guy I know.
Hashtag rap guy.
Yeah. This rapper I know, we've been like best friends for a long time, but we got this new project coming out called Clarity. And so I'm supposed to be doing some tour in August. So see what's going on, but see what's up. You're only back for like 3 or 4 weeks right now though, right?
Yeah, we leave again on the 24th.
Fuck. Where's the first show?
Great question.
I don't know. It's
St.
online.
Petersburg. Here we go.
I think it might be in Poland. I'm not sure.
Nice, but Europe again.
Yeah.
You meet
Nice.
me in Warsaw.
Ah,
Yeah, like that.
yeah.
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 This probably is in Warsaw.
Probably
Yeah.
is too. Yeah, no, I don't really listen a lot, but no, they just tell me where to go.
Can I point out the You Big Idiot song recently attributed
So good.
called For Ronnie? Now, can we explain? I could easily explain this, but I would love to hear you explain this. This would make way more sense.
Okay, well,
By the way, next week we have You Big Idiot on the show.
Oh,
so
nice.
This makes sense. Okay, so go ahead.
So it was the first, I think it was the day after releasing the new album, the 25th year anniversary album.
Which is great, by the way.
So it would have been, thank you. It would have been on March 4th then, I think. We played in Vancouver.
Right.
And Andrew Peterson, who plays in the Corps, basically at the beginning of the year, Gianno, who plays guitar for the McKenzies, he was it's like, I can only do half of the year this year. It's like, okay, well, we needed to get somebody else. So Andrew stepped on board, and it was great. But, he already knew the songs and everything. So Troy and Gianno and Paul and everybody, we were all talking and being like, hey, like, would it hurt or anything if he just came and played the show anyway?
Right.
And Dan Stanning from the Corps plays in the McKenzies now too.
Right.
And so,
Which is crazy.
so Colin went to the show and saw this, and then saw 3/4 of the Corps there, and didn't tell me or didn't tell anybody, but just got this idea. He's like, I hope Ronnie's okay right now. I wonder what that guy is. And Ronnie was there at the show enjoying himself, but he's just like, man, it just felt so bad for Ronnie.
I just love it. It's such a good.
And he wrote this.
good.
It's great. It's amazing.
I think it's available everywhere right now. If you guys want to check it out.
They also, You Big Idiot got everybody from the Corps, even at separate times, to do backups on their new album.
Do a bunch of gang vocals.
And their new album is amazing.
I'm really excited for it.
It sounds so great.
I'm very excited for it. I like the classics. I like
Yep.
Ted Danson's
Ted Danson's playing, yep.
playing, yeah. And I like to that end though. I want to say that with the Corps, my favorite song is Violet.
Oh, okay.
I love Violet.
Thanks.
Are you a big fan?
Of Violet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be weird if the way you said yeah, you're
It's
like,
like,
oh
no.
yeah. I was like, oh,
Least
okay.
favorite.
Yeah. Did I not pick
hate
the
that
right
song.
song? Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. Did should I have picked? Oh Jesus Christ! It's losing me. It's right now. The instrumental fucking that like 1 minute banger jam. That's like
Speed Force?
Oh, Speed Force is dope as fuck too, but it's not Speed Force. Hold on.
That one's like a minute long, and it's basically
look
like
this
this
up right
this
now.
like metal thing. But we didn't release that online. We only released it on. I think we tried not to release it online,
Hold
but
on.
we just wanted everybody with an actual CD. to
Pillar
have it.
Assault, you fucking fucks.
It's at the end of Pillar Assault.
Oh.
Is the metal thing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's all comic book related. There's
course.
reasons and
Now we should talk about this. Being myself for a while,
go on. How long?
just the right amount of time. I'm part of the Boomsday Alliance, as is Chris Martin over here.
Boom.
And the Boomsday Alliance, we tell long storytelling arcs. We don't put out songs, we put out episodes, and we don't put out albums, we put out seasons.
Nice.
And we are sci-fi travelers on the spaceship, the Double Boomski, and it's owned by a guy
Boomski?
named Newbie Nubinson. He's this like ultra materialistic quadrillionaire, and he's just infinite wealth. He's an amazing guy, but he like curates a whole talent pool that is the crew aboard the ship, and that's the basis of all our songs. And that being said, the Corps have an amazing plot arc, and I love the way you guys put stuff together. I'd love to hear how this came together, because obviously this is just not an average story idea. So I want to hear this. Like, what's going on?
We had it was just I used to play in this rock and roll band with Dan Stenning as well too, called Dead Voices.
Okay.
Awesome rock and roll, really gritty. It's great. When we were done, I was just kind of bumming around and drinking with friends, and I was just like, well, I'm a super comic book nerd, and I was like, well, I love comic books and I love punk rock, so. And that was it. And like the next day, I started writing songs and demoed a bunch, and then sent them out to people that would be interested in it. And and then got JJ Heath being like, "Hey, you wanna record this?"
Are you the sole writer then of these records?
I've written most of the stuff, but that was also one of the conditions too that Stenning had. He's just like, "Yeah, I'd love to play in this band, but like, I write songs all the time too.
Right.
Is that gonna be a problem?" And I was like, "No, I want everybody on board."
See, that's really important, because like it seems more and more the modern ethos towards recording and writing is almost like, 'cause it's funny because we had Evan October on last week talking about the franchise nature, like not just the theme, the baseball theme, but also like having like a core team, like so like Evan being part of that core. Not the core that we're talking about, but like the core members of that roster, so to speak, and then building players around it that want to be involved and want to be part of that theme. And then when you look at the actual band, the Corps, you guys, I was very curious on the dynamic, because that aspect I'm discussing right there is that like, okay, like who's writing, who has because as a producer, that's what I'm looking at all the time. I'm like, I want to know like, okay, who's writing, who's this and this.
With the Corps, basically, I wanted a tribe. I wanted because
I love that. We're big fans.
that's probably the hardest thing to get out of a band is people that are okay with giving up their life.
that okay.
Because hypothetically,
you have to,
you
like, put it on pause, right?
like hypothetically you have 8 hours to sleep a day. Hypothetically, you work for 8 hours a day. What you do with that extra 8 hours is going to define where you go.
Right.
And if it's, it's almost too much to ask somebody else to be like, hey, do you want to be a part of this project? But if the love is already there, then you can get everybody together, and it's harder than it sounds, because
it's way
everybody's
Dude, it's the hardest.
everybody's doing their own thing, and which is awesome. But
That's where I like. That's where I want to talk a little bit about the collaboration aspect of it, because the idea that like you're the founder of the Corps, right? You're moving forward. The people that are involved, like we just talked about at great length about how 3 of the 4 members are in the Real McKenzies. So not only that, but you're also, bringing that fraternal brotherhood into that, and like these connections are made. Ronnie included, obviously, in that.
Absolutely.
But what I'm talking about is like the idea that there's this movement, and if you want to get involved, you get involved, you jump on board, you play your position essentially, and you grow with the group. Whereas like there are groups out there where very recently. I mean, like even to an extent, like Real McKenzies, the band turnover. We were saying last week the Isotopes probably have maybe just as much in terms of like
The Isotopes keep going at this rate, and they will have more.
more, right?
They will have more.
But and I think that's almost like kind of expected in the like theme of the band, right? Like it's not even like, oh, like we have to have the same setup of people, but it's like it's bringing on killer talent that is going to flesh out these roles in the band. Like that's the idea. Like you guys coming on into the Real McKenzies gives a nice fucking kick in the balls to like the whole vibe and group, the whole energy of the group. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean everybody's kind of younger guys, but and not speaking for anybody that has played in the band, but they like, they're like legends, like stuff.
Fuck
guys
yeah,
like
that's what I'm talking about.
Guys
Yeah.
like Bone, I think, is one of the best guitar players to ever play punk rock. Like he's just, and like, there's just so many examples of fantastic players in this band.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, for good or bad, it's time for people to leave, or they want to leave, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But being inside of the crew, it wasn't. It didn't take very long to feel like part of the team.
Right. And like
Because
blend, right?
because Paul's just like, hey, yeah, you do your job. That's great. Let's party.
yeah.
Let's drink.
It seems like that. Like
is.
at an outside perspective, it seems like that. It seems like you guys are like so cohesive, and like the idea that like it's a super team mentality. Like it should be like that. And like I'm sure you've heard about it or seen other things where like people come into groups, existing dynamics, and it's like arm's length. They're
Yep.
like, oh, you're not a member of this like initial, ground
Totally.
floor, essentially. It's not like that, right? You guys
Yeah.
are like so fucking tight. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, oh, you guys are kicking the balls to the group. It's like, that's fucking the best thing ever. You guys are like jumping in there with this new enthusiasm and energy, and like, why not?
It's great.
Yeah, steel
great.
sharpens steel, my friend. That's why people love the Corps. That's why people are like, you guys sound fucking amazing. That's why you guys are great. You guys are bringing that kind of energy to the stage all the time. I love that.
Oh, Ronnie's a big comic book guy too, and so with him, with actually how he came into the fold, Peterson and Stenning and myself, we were sitting at Hyde, the place that he owns, and we were just having some drinks, and my favorite Lagwagon album came on,
Which is
Blaze, and I'm like, oh. I'm listening to it. I was like, hey, who runs the music here? And he's like, I do. I'm like, this is my favorite. He's like, this is my favorite. And I was like, brother.
Nice.
But anyways, we needed
we both had Mike's Hard Lemonade. Amazing.
now there can be three of us. We needed a bass player, and he's like, I'd be interested in doing this. Same kind of thing with Peterson as well. We needed another guitar player.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want to teach anybody how to play guitar or like teach them the parts.
Yeah.
Right. And I already knew Peterson could play, but I was like, I was trying to get Stenning and myself up to a level where we could start auditioning people.
Again, 8 hours.
And
right?
and Stenning was just like, no, he's gonna come by and like jam. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I'm like, okay, this song is in F minor, blah blah blah. And he's like, why don't you just let me give it a shot? And he'd already learned every Corps song, and I was just like, Jesus, it was amazing.
So it was like
Same
much.
thing with Ronnie. Ronnie came in there and he was just like, I'd like to audition for the Corps. Like, sure. So he came to jam and he knew every song.
Ronnie approached you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty.
But
cool
we were already like hanging out as
Yeah.
a crew anyway, and he was just like, I'd really love to give this a whirl, and it was right.
I think people are fascinated with that process, with the audition process, with the.
It never happens like that.
I know.
Ever.
That's why I'm
Those
saying.
are the first two examples I've ever seen it, and it happened in the same band.
That's what I'm saying.
It's never
Like,
happened to me.
That's why it's so fascinating, because like a lot of the time, we were making fun of last week about like Gennaro band stories, and I was like, let's go right now with. I was like, let's make up a fake band background. Me and Evan October made a fake should we do that? Should we try this exercise?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, you and I right now we're going to start a punk band that's already existing and successful, but this is our backstory we're going to make.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I was at a Minor Threat concert.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
and
Unfortunately, my band, The Slivers, had just put on hiatus
Right.
Because of the bass player's girlfriend.
Okay.
Classic.
Bass player's girlfriend actually turned out to be my cousin, but she had a great judge of character, even albeit through all designations and everything. But she had a great judge of character, and she knew you, and she knew you knew another drummer. You know a drummer who would be able to like maybe keep time with us.
Absolutely.
Maybe. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
fortunately enough, his dad's basement hadn't been used in years, and he had just moved back with his parents. But he had he was working on some stuff, so we weren't sure if we could get him right away.
Right.
But fortunately, Trevor answered the call.
And that call was actually picked up on a BlackBerry Pearl, and it was
Nice.
And that specifically was important because it spoke to his because it was 2016 when he picked up that BlackBerry Pearl call, and I was like, this guy is DIY as fuck, and I knew right away.
And after Sliver broke up, everything was like really like piling up. That's why we called our first hit song "Brick Breaker."
That's right.
And
that's good. Okay, we can rock it there. That's good. Well done.
thanks, ET Canada.
Yeah, well
See you
done.
later.
That was amazing. That was good.
You really should have a song called Brick Breaker.
That's
Someone should.
for
I mean, that's
sure.
got to be.
Now we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Blockbuster in DC Comics. You see,
That's
Yeah,
right.
Fair enough.
Who is your favorite superhero?
Superman.
Superman.
Really?
So you're a DC guy.
Yeah. I love a lot of stuff in Marvel, but DC's my home for sure. Yeah.
I gotta ask though, like, why Superman? Why not like for me, I'm a villain guy. One of my favorite guys is Doomsday.
Yeah.
Not just because of the Doomsday Alliance, but like Doomsday. Like I don't know, I think he's badass.
His backstory is fantastic.
So
if you
fucking
read like
good.
Hunter Prey, it's all there.
Would you mind enlightening us a little bit about that?
Okay,
Just a little
how
bit.
much time do we have?
We got as much time as you need to tell me about Doomsday's backstory.
Okay, so billions and billions and billions of years ago,
Billions. So this is pre
almost
life.
in the sector of the universe where Krypton was still basically a piece of rock.
Okay.
It had not given birth to any Kryptonians at all.
Okay.
So a very long time ago. A spaceship came by, and basically this other alien was like, I'm going to create immortal life. I'm going to create. And he's like, I need the worst conditions, around our sector in the universe. And he's like, that piece of rock, like Krypton's just barely coming up. There's, you can't breathe. It's too cold. There's spikes everywhere. Lava is just basically starting. Doesn't matter.
You're living on Mercury.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is where we'll make this thing. So he takes his child, sends him out in basically this protective incubator, excuse me.
It's okay.
Kind of
Root beer,
capsule.
vodka all day.
Yeah,
It's
all
okay.
day.
It's okay.
It goes out, and instantly, once the protective layer over, the baby dies.
Oh wow.
They bring back in the tissue and they clone it immediately. And they keep doing this, and they repeat this process for about 1,200 years,
Wow.
over and over and over again. Now, by this point, the tissue, the DNA tissue, has learned to evolve faster and stronger in each thing. So when they start making this thing, it starts growing almost because it has to survive, but it's still the same tissue, but with memory on it. So this being comes over and over and over
It's
again.
memory infused DNA.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, it was given a chance to live, but it takes in, but as it's adapting, even instantaneously, it's going to kill the creature, but the tissue itself stores the memory.
the aliens conducting this experiment, do they have the lifespan of like a humanoid, like 100 years?
No.
Okay.
They probably live for about 5,000 years.
5,000. Oh,
Yeah.
so this was just like
This was nothing.
This is like a summer
This is
job.
nothing to them.
Yeah, this is
this
one person's
this
summer
is like,
job.
yeah.
Here I was thinking this is like 12
1/5 your life is
generations.
one
Yeah,
seven.
there's more- yeah. No, I mean everybody's looking a lot older
see.
because they were you know.
Of course, 1,200 years. Let's
And
get real, you know.
I think it was like his last like dying wish to see an immortal son. So
After
they're throwing him out,
so,
and now there's like these there's some beasts going around like this planet. It's weird. It's but they're still sending out, still doing the same thing, and then they finally get to the point where now they don't need to send it out in a chamber. It can handle the cold. It can handle the thing.
Right.
The lack of atmosphere.
Right,
Everything. Yeah. These other beasts that can also that Krypton started breeding basically. They would come and tear it to shreds. And then it got stronger after that, and then it started killing these beasts that were there, and then so once for sure after it killed all the beasts that were around there, it came thumping on the door, and he's like, "I did it, I made this unstoppable thing." So what it does is Doomsday actually dies every time, but he can't be killed the same way again.
Oh my God.
So because he's so adaptive, and so he comes in and he kills everybody, and he's just sitting on Krypton for who knows how long. And then, so technically like the first real Kryptonian. So he gets in, even though the sun was a yellow star at the same time, not a red one. But there's a passerby of like a satellite. And it lands a craft there, like just for research purposes. This is years later, years after he killed his father and everybody else in there,
Right.
Because he's just sitting there. He just kills. That's all he does. You know,
right,
just
yeah.
no. And he hopped on board and went around to some different places. Went to this one utopian society, this planet, and they got this being made of pure energy to take him down, split him in half. They put him in this almost unbreakable shell, like he's not going anywhere. And they sent him across the galaxy to basically orbit the galaxy. Got caught in an asteroid field, went straight into Earth, probably before humans were even there.
Wow.
And he's been digging his way out ever since.
Digging his way
And so
out.
in 1993, that's when he showed up.
Fuck, man. Jesus Christ. There's something extra special about Dan Garrison telling us that. I don't know why. Like, that just felt... I was like, damn. I knew some of that, but the level of detail...
See, here's the thing, guys. Is like, you can tell me what a vagina feels like, and I can tell you what Superman's middle name is. Did a lot of work in high school. It's funny and true.
This is coming from a punk rock killer, ladies and gentlemen, on the road. There's a highly doubtable chance of that, by the way. That was fucking badass. That was really good.
It's a great backstory.
Can I tell you, in 138
So
episodes,
how do you fight him then?
138 episodes of the show, I don't think I've heard it. I've heard a story so well told like that, like a backstory explained so well.
Oh, it's a great story.
We usually get a lot of cliff notes. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Sorry, what were you saying, C-Mart?
Well, I'm just wondering, how do you traditionally? I'm not super familiar with the character, but how do you traditionally fight? So you can't kill him the same way, but how does he reclone himself when defeated, or is he ever killed and then comes back?
I think
Or,
it's
He's
the,
killed. He's killed, and then he comes back. Like even when he was fighting Superman, it was a 3-day battle.
Classic.
And when
It's
he
like a
showed
Warhammer story.
basically when Doomsday showed up on the scene, the rest of the Justice League that was actually picked by Batman, even though Batman wasn't the leader anymore. Long story.
Sure.
But they show up and they just get manhandled by this thing. Superman finally shows up after 3 hours, 4 hours, comes down, and Doomsday goes to give him a kick, and the kick just Superman's kind of like, ha, that's all you got. And then Doomsday's he punches him, but it doesn't do anything. So Doomsday's never hit something this hard. So then he gives him a kick, and Superman goes flying a couple of miles. And every single
miles.
every single hit that Superman's giving him, because he's sworn not to kill again. So he's hitting him as hard as he thinks that just might take him down. Like, not because he doesn't want to kill anything. So he's slowly but surely hitting harder and harder. But this battle lasts for 3 days. And when they get to Metropolis, that's the end of it. Basically, Superman's bleeding all over the place, and Lois is like, you can't stop this guy. Like, you can't do it. And he's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I have to kill him. It's the only way that's going to happen. and they run at each other one last time, and Doomsday goes down like this, and Superman goes up like this, and they hit each other,
Hammer fist.
and
Hammer-fist, yeah.
that's it, and they both fall back, and then Superman's like, is he dead? He can't see anything. He's like, is he down? Is he down? And Lois is like, yes, you did it. You saved everybody, and then he passes away, and they both die. But Doomsday's never been in a fight that big. So it takes him about 3 months, maybe a year, depending on which way you look at it, to kind of wake up. Because he was held at Cadmus Labs after that.
But how does he regenerate? Is that just his nature?
That's just in his DNA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he
Like
can
at
bring
that
himself
point,
back.
because it'd
Yeah,
been so
I
many
see.
thousands and thousands of versions of
Sure,
that.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, oh, I
I
actually
see.
developed
So he's
regeneration.
regenerative.
Yeah.
Yeah. In like a...
He's like Wolverine, like you can't really kill him.
that was like...
Like not the same, but like in the sense of like you can't actually kill him.
I mean, you can kill Wolverine a lot of ways.
No, I've seen. Okay, so
But it just depends on the writer. Because
sure, yeah.
So
I mean, like
that for me, that gets me upset. Like that kind
sure,
of thing.
yeah.
It's just like
I've
you
seen
can't just
Wolverine incinerated to
can't
his
just decide
adamantium
that-
skeleton, and he somehow regenerates.
right. And
Like
it-
that's in
or
the like in
the-
Civil War.
I mean,
he
like, yeah,
is
I've
incinerated.
I've seen
And he lives.
Magneto attempt to extract his skeleton
Sure, yeah.
from his body.
He did.
And he did. And I've also seen Magneto. I have the comic where he kills Cable. Magneto kills Cable, which is fucking insane.
Is that around the same time period?
There's a weird X-Force X Factor crossover comic I have with a hologram cover, and it's fucking the weirdest comic anyway, but like Magneto pulls out all the machinery out of Cable,
Yeah.
and just eviscerates him essentially through it, and it's like old old Magnus, like old, he's like super old, like his hair is coming out of his helmet, like
This is before Age of Apocalypse.
must be. I'm talking like Marvel's so weird with all the alternative timelines.
Yeah, that does
It's-
bother me.
But-
It's not really like a timeline thing. It's just like somebody's
is-
got a really great story, so they'll write it in Marvel.
I mean, okay, so Cable had already dealt with time. What's the name of that series? He'd already dealt with the whole Bishop.
Days of
angle.
Future Past.
Days of Future Past, right? So that whole angle, exactly. Dude, how good of a fucking guest is Dan Garrison, right? Like,
I think
Well,
we
if
hit a
you wanna
topic
talk
that he
about
knows.
comics-
no, we're talking intergalactic interviews, excellent guests, and that's what we're talking about, comics all day. But you'd already done the Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
You got no more drinks going here, bro? What's going on? Nice.
I mean, Goose, what do you need?
Bow.
Whatever you got. Thank
You're the
you.
best wingman ever in the fucking house here. Yeah, he'd already done like the Bishop angle, and at this point he was actually dealing with like, do you know Richter?
Yep.
Okay, so he was like actually mentioning.
When you asked, did you know that he would say yes?
Yeah. Did you know? Richter is.
He
part
uses
of
seismic activity from his mutant gene.
That's right. I mean, not throw off of his name, but you're right. And so Richter was like being mentored by Cable at this point.
Okay.
And then there was this massive fight. It's been a long time since I read it, but there was this massive fight. Magneto shows up, and it's like Cable's on the cover, so you're thinking like, oh, this is like a Cable. Of course he's gonna win, kind of like one of those kind of tropes. Nope. It ends
Spoiler,
with
spoiler.
Magneto pulling him up. I mean, it came out in 1995, so if you want to like, spoiler, whatever.
Gotcha.
So, quick question then: what'd you think of Wonder Woman? Do you like it?
I was supposed to go see it yesterday, and I
Besides the first 15 minutes, it was great.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
I haven't seen it yet, but I just want to know because I was supposed to see it yesterday. And I just chose not. I chose to drink instead and do an edible.
that's fine.
I enjoyed some edible love. I would love to know why you think the first 15 minutes are whack though.
Well, children in movies is
I will watch it.
95% a bad call. Unless it's like the kid from The Shining or the kid from Sixth Sense. They usually suck.
Unless it's the
And like
Sandlot.
there's
Yeah,
this,
that's
and
fair.
sorry, spoiler alert. It's the first 15 minutes that doesn't really matter, and they're running around, and like, Kid Wonder Woman is just watching other people train, and I'm just like, no, come on, I get it, but I
The
don't know. That
collage
stuff
was
the
pretty
acting-
cool though.
It was cool to see,
Like
island.
there's like a scene where like it's like a pan over of a painting, and it's all animated with like the gods and stuff like that, and it's like
when they're telling the story.
yeah,
of
that
how
part's
they came to
really
be.
really cool actually, and I actually saw
That
the
was
art.
neat.
You can see it. I think that's on ArtStation. I don't know if you ever go to that site, but there's a full. The guy that was involved, one of the guys that was involved in that, has a breakdown, almost shot by shot, of just like a whole bunch of the scenes on it. It's actually really cool. Just the detail of it.
I was supposed to watch it, and I haven't seen it, but I hear it's like fucking really good.
I thought it was really fun.
I just don't like children actors, but like I said, that has nothing really to do with the movie.
I don't really like.
It's just asking for.
No, you're not wrong.
Cheesy, dumb lines because you're telling a kid because they're dumb and they can't read very
Classic
well
kid
yet.
move.
And blah blah blah. Anyways, but once that's what they did with Wonder Woman's character is what I think they should have done with Man of Steel, because Superman's my guy, and in no way. Maybe a little bit in Man of Steel, but zero in Batman versus Superman was he the beacon of hope that he should be.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy looks at the human race like they're ants, and he still holds them above himself. That is a hero to me. And that's one of the reasons why I think he's the best. And to have that much power and just be like, no, and no matter what, no matter who dies, no matter who's getting stuffed, he still holds that true. And he was just like, no, I will not sway from this. You are more important than I am, and I am here to protect you. And I think like
it's a good moral compass. Yeah.
The selflessness of characters like that are what inspire me.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I thought Wonder Woman was just paced. I thought it was paced really well. I thought, like, I know the Wonder Woman story like a bit, but not super close. But I really like how they unveil her power. They don't really like come out and say like how powerful she is.
She doesn't really know. At
Yeah,
that
she
point,
doesn't. Like you're kind of learning
loved.
as she knows.
Yeah.
But then like, because there's a bunch of scenes you're like, how are you alive? But then you're like, oh, is she that strong? Is she Superman? Because Superman is just like invincible kind of thing, right? Like,
No,
obviously not. But like, what I mean is that I think it's a well understood character that is known as being like pretty hard to put down. Like a gun. Not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it.
Yeah, but it's like with Wonder Woman, I was like, I can't remember.
Question though, how much? Because I haven't seen it yet. So you both have seen it, right?
Yep.
How much of the show would you say is somewhat skewed due to new understanding of feminist values and things like that in society? How much of that, like this "you go girl" mentality, like how much of that is that?
It depends what you mean, because I don't know.
Like you were just saying, like
I don't know
be
if
as strong as Superman, C-Mart. Like what the fuck? Like,
I don't know what you mean. When was it a great superhero movie? Yeah, it was awesome.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was a great film, right?
It was a great film, and.
But what were there moments in there where you're just like, that seems kind of pandering to today's like modern?
No, not at all. She was just better. In fact, if anything, she was just better written than like
she couldn't.
I'm so
like,
happy
all
to
the
hear that.
shitty
tropes.
She couldn't understand. You really get like this is why I think like what they should have done with Man of Steel in the same way is because you really get the feeling from her mouth, not from anybody else's, that she really, really feels alone without saying that, because every single human being that she talks to, she's like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean you're waiting on a piece of paper to sign? People are dying right now. What's wrong with you? Everybody, good guys and bad guys. She's like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't we fighting right now when there's people being hurt? No, I don't have time to talk, because I need to go solve this and take them out, and it's pretty badass.
That's a beautiful concept. Could you imagine if she was like a literal interpretation of her name? If she was like Wonder Woman, like she was constantly like, what? Like in.
Yeah, we take it.
Sure, I can't imagine. That sounds like a parody.
Spider-Man's sitting in the corner. There's a bottle of Raid on the table, and he's like, "Oh my god! Oh 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 my god!"
She's just astonished.
Batman's eyesight is poor. Not really bad, but poor.
Yeah, I know. he's like good at listening though.
He's got a really good ear. The chicks love it. Yeah. Just like
It's hyper literal bullshit.
Robin gets up super early every day.
You're like, what do you mean there's a piece of paper beside? She's like
hates
wondering
breakfast.
about it.
I wonder what bark tastes like.
And
What?
I'm like, wow, what an inquisitive female. I'm very impressed.
She definitely wonders a lot.
Yeah. She's very well
thoughtful.
Yeah,
No,
she's not well read, but she's like well thought out in terms.
But
of
that's the thing. I think that there's a classic trope in media that I hadn't seen.
I want to see that cartoon now.
Yeah, Wonder Woman. Okay, sorry.
I'm telling you, back to Spider-Man. He's just in the corner. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah.
There's this rage. Just that nobody's looking at it.
No.
Nobody's looking at it.
No one's even
doesn't know
mentioned
what's. He doesn't even know what's happening.
Also, probably doesn't like water.
Yeah. He also doesn't like Off and like Citronella. Yeah.
Jesus.
Mary Jane's about to bang him for the first time. She's like, come meet me in the bathroom. He like opens the door all slowly. She's in there, red hair, just sitting on top of the shampoo. She's like, oh, I've been waiting so long,
Where is
Spider-Man.
this going?
I love
Oh,
you so
no.
much. She goes to light a candle. It's Citronella.
Uh-oh.
He's
Do
like,
they even dislike
oh.
it? Isn't that a mosquito thing?
I don't want to get into the semantics. Okay,
Yeah.
but bugs don't
You
like
know
it,
what?
right?
If anything, we can all agree.
Oh God. But
He's
no,
like,
there's
oh my god. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I just meant
I
there's
can't wait to have 14,000 kids with you. What?
Yeah. He's like, no, it's pretty simple actually. I just implanted an egg sac inside you, and
It'd be fine. We carry it around
fine.
for a while.
wow.
Oh,
yeah, it's
God.
easy. Yeah.
What are some of the better names that we could totally do this with as well, too?
Okay.
Like me and Aquaman works at Marine World now.
For real.
Marine Land.
For real.
Everybody loves Marine Land, except for real people. He just like goes back. He's like, "Oh, Denise, it was a really tough day, and there's like protesters at his apartment."
That's
You know, sometimes I don't wish I was Aquaman. She's like, "Don't say that, babe. Don't say that." I don't even want to be Aquaman anymore.
Yeah. Throws it down. The Justice League doesn't need me anymore.
Oh.
What are you talking about, bro? They totally need you.
That's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be an interesting movie.
Do you think they're gonna do well?
I think the surprising characters will be the best ones. Like, for example, everybody's going to love The Flash because it's awesome. Everybody's going to love Aquaman because his story's awesome. And it's... I love the story of Darkseid invading. That's huge. I think what they're going to do... Steppenwolf, who is... I think he's Darkseid's uncle.
Wow.
Anyways, he's going to... This is what I think is going to happen. He's going to come to Earth and try to get these mother boxes back, which are like not necessarily like sentient beings, but they're so then all the new gods like Darkseid and Steppenwolf and Mr. Miracle and all these guys, they even though there's 52 different universes in DC Comics,
Right.
they're only singular. There's one of them in every dimension because they're gods.
Right. Yeah.
And which is awesome. But
Which is much more infinitely expanding than what I would say with like the Marvel universe, where it's like there's a number of gods sharing territory essentially in one like multiple like it's not as distinct, I should say. And
DC spent a lot of time and sometimes making bad reads of it, but they spent a lot of time in comic books being like, okay, we're going to write this, like, for example, the first real big one. The first one happened in 1952 with Martian Manhunter, long story. But the second one was Crisis on Infinite Earths. And it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't a fantastic read, but some crazy, crazy stuff happened that explained and pushed all the universes together so that they could explain every single thing that's ever happened in DC Comics ever. They've done this about like 3 or 4 times now.
Wow.
And they wasted a lot of time and a lot of money to explain everything so you can pick up a DC comic at any time and be like, I can explain when this is and what happened and why. And regardless if it was a good idea or a bad idea, the consistency is there. The continuity, forgive me.
definitely, which is important to us.
And Marvel did that. Marvel Studios did that with their movies, and that's why they're so successful. And it's amazing. And like, man, Winter Soldier was so good.
I love
haven't seen
Winter
it yet.
Soldier.
I've heard
Guardians
it's
of the
good.
Galaxy was so good.
You ever seen Winter Soldier?
No.
Winter Soldier is one of those.
I've
rare
heard it's really good.
honestly.
I saw Logan.
Logan's really good too.
Anyway.
But just to speak on Winter Soldier for a second, Winter Soldier to me was so good. The action scenes were great, obviously, because like that's what the meat of the film is. But I will say my favorite parts of that film were the tense, like the tense dialogue between like. Here you have like an initial team that's working together and everyone's fine, but then you have the morality crisis of like whether or not they follow these resolutions that are being imposed upon them by the world governments versus like
Is this all the Civil War stuff, right?
yeah.
I've read the Civil War.
Leading up to.
Yeah,
I've read the
yeah.
Civil. Like I was working on a Marvel game for a brief period of time,
Cool.
and but
Oh, yeah, I
like
should
it's
mention
gone.
People that are listening for
But-
the first time, maybe C-Mart works on video games for a living. So there you go.
No, but I actually read the entirety of the Civil War event, like all the side things, like all the like She-Hulk's in there, like everybody's kind of like getting dirty, and yeah, so like it's the one event that I'm really familiar
fuck yeah,
with.
dude.
Well,
As you should be.
that scene where
Wait.
Punisher walks in and Captain America just runs over, like, what's he doing here, and beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And Punisher's favorite guy is Captain America, and he doesn't even leave after that. He just got his face broken by Captain America, and he's just like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. That's what I'm
I
trying
love
to say.
that
It's
scene.
actually a cool story. Like it's a cool like idea that like the superheroes are against each other in some way.
I think it's a really it's you know, all my nerd friends like myself ask me like, okay, whose side are you on, Iron Man or Captain America? And I think that was a really easy call.
Yeah.
Because the third Robin, Tim Drake, even though it's in a different universe, says it and coined it best, and that'll never leave my thoughts. You don't stop monsters by becoming one. And what had happened, as soon as Tony Stark started getting all these villains that kill people on a regular basis, who registered on his side, that's when I threw in the towel. I was just like, nope, any of your arguments, they mean nothing.
Right.
They mean nothing now.
That's a good point. Now, when you say the third Robin, you mean like
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake, but post Nightwing.
Well, Dick Grayson is Nightwing, and that was the first Robin. And the second one was Jason Todd, who was killed by the Joker. Actually, the story of the Red Hood.
There's a bump in a set for you, so I'm trying to show.
that mean?
I just showed on the video there. It's just like
Oh,
a little
cool.
bump in a set, and now you're gonna spike it. Go ahead.
But you know the whole thing with Buddy in Bucky in Captain America, that's the Red Hood story. That's when Jason Todd comes back, his sidekick back from the dead. That's the Bucky story. The Bucky story told it again, and it's still a fantastic story.
Always.
And the Red Hood, actually, on our new album, there's a song called "Empty Nest," and Peterson sings for Dick Grayson, Ronnie sings for Jason Todd, and I sing for Tim Drake, and it's about being trained as a soldier and being left behind.
What?
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the core new album?
Sure.
Who produced this album?
JJ Heath,
Sweet. Okay. As a
who
producer,
produced the last two.
Yeah, which is fucking great. I love continuity. I like consistency. I don't know if you picked up on this theme already.
Absolutely.
But
That's great.
Big fan of that. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you when people can expect to receive that.
Here's the thing. Something's happening in October that is going to go... There's like 3 different things that might happen.
I'm
So
excited
know.
because I think I have been in this game long enough. I think I know exactly what might be.
So I
taking
can't
place.
really...
That's okay.
Because I have no idea.
Dan Garrison. That's okay.
So.
Let me
But
just say
I can
this.
tell you, we can listen to the songs after if you want.
Fuck yeah. Are you kidding me?
But yeah.
Fuck
it's,
yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. I just want to ask this. Can I ask this?
Yeah.
This is freedom of the press. Okay, you have to respect this.
Go on. Yes, I am circumcised. What's the big deal?
It's fake news. Fake news.
You know, a lot of people have news,
Yeah.
but this is the best
This is
news.
the best news. The news in October coming up.
Mm-hmm.
People will be excited.
Yeah, I think so.
There you go.
It's a little bit. It's a more of. We'll have a little bit more of a direction.
And that's what you call softball journalism, ladies and gentlemen. Just giving like, will people feel excited? You're like,
Yep.
Yup. You're
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Well, stay tuned to October, ladies and gentlemen.
No, they're
It's
going to be excited.
Yeah. No,
I think so.
I think people are going to be fucking stoked.
If you like comic books and punk rock, you're going to be really excited.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How could you not be stoked at this point? I just want to say I've been reading. I've been trying this new thing recently where I'm trying to give myself actual, like, I usually downplay the fuck out of myself in my head about what I'm trying to do and whatnot. And recently, I got to tell you, I think I can acknowledge that I can read.
You can
the play.
read.
I can I can read the play as well. Like, that's what's happening. I just want to say, if it's what I think it is, I think you guys are doing fucking awesome, and I'm pretty excited for this fall.
Thanks, man.
As excited as you should be for a Treehouse of Horror marathon at my place. God
Fuck
damn
yeah.
it. It'd be dope. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go check out the Corps live, I would recommend doing so because they're not only are they fucking good, but 3 of their 4 members will be on the road with the Real McKenzies for a long goddamn time. So I would recommend it. And if you can go ahead and catch them. They'll be playing the second night of the 2-night Rocket from Russia Festival, Friday, July 21st at 8 p.m. and Saturday, the same time, 8 p.m. at the Media Club. And the Media Club is a historic venue in Vancouver, and it is going to be shutting down to, let way to a corporate fucking restaurant or something like that. I don't know what's going on. Which is whack, but this will be the unofficial.
Where else can you get jalapeno poppers, though, right?
All right, come on.
Not in this city.
Come on. Yeah,
It's going to be a massive hit.
Yeah. Where else can you get a fear of vampires with sangria?
It's not a bad name for
You know,
it.
it's about time we start shutting musical venues down because Vancouver
Oh,
needs to
too
start
many.
all the live ones.
Honestly,
all the live music venues. Let's get them out of here. There's too many. I can't even turn around and
Yeah.
people are like, come and play
come
here.
here.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy out there.
I hate the fact that I go out at night and everyone's like, come to my live show, and I'm always like, oh fuck
man,
you.
come on.
No, put up a Joey's and a fucking
Yeah,
You know
I need
what?
one more Cactus Club.
Yeah.
Just
Please.
one more quick
Yeah.
Or
one.
can Donnelly buy it and just like put up
Yeah.
a bar?
You know what would be great is if another conglomerate bought it and then just completely eliminated the live component. Let's just
Finally.
Have you been?
Finally,
So,
right?
question: Have
Finally.
you been to the
Hard
Railway
sarcasm,
Club? Have
ladies
you been
and
to the Railway?
No, but I
I'm
talked
one of-
to somebody who went and saw a live band
Okay,
there. The
and?
first live band there. He said it was great.
Yeah,
Oh,
I heard
wow.
that too.
Of what they did, except for when you go through to the back, and
like
it was like this.
Sure.
you-
Yeah.
They moved the bar back so 2 people can walk at the same
Nice,
time.
okay, that's
which
fair.
is nice.
How dare they
Yeah.
remove the historical one-lane?
But apparently it's he said the show was great. They made the stage even bigger, which is
Okay.
fantastic.
Yep.
And but he also said he's like, cheapest beer is $7.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a decent venue,
I think, but
That's
what,
because it's a business, kid, and we're not running a
30,
charity.
40 people maybe be in front
Yep.
of the stage
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
I just don't know why they didn't make the stage in the back. Because
Yeah.
then you
Like,
can come
pull out
into
that
a
wall,
pub and
like-
have some drinks, and if
Yeah.
you want to listen to music, you can go into the
front.
back.
Not only that, but
Now
I
you
would-
don't have to. But he also said it was like $15 to get
Oh.
in for 3
Oh.
bands, which is okay. Don't get
Yeah,
me wrong.
it's not bad.
I pay for live music, but
Yeah.
then the beer's got to be like $3.50.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's tough.
I'll tell you what.
I'm just glad they
They're
kept
not-
it because they
not
on
catering.
paper they
Me
weren't.
too.
On paper they weren't keeping it, and then I think there was some backlash, and they kept it, and I'm glad because it's a good size spot because like
I don't mean to
no,
complain about
I
the
think-
booze prices, but I was straight edge for 11 years, and then I
see your
turned
minor-
12.
I see your minor yeah. I was like, yeah, I see your minor threat hat. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah.
By the way,
Anyway, I was
funny
just
joke.
wondering.
It's a funny joke. It's a funny joke. Then I
Ladies and
turned
gentlemen, you want to go check out Rocket from Russia Fest Friday, July 21st and Saturday, July 22nd. It's amazing. The lineup is going to be crazy. The Isotopes, You Big Idiot, The Corps, Contra Code, ATD, Ellesmere, Anthems, Russia Tim and the Pavel Berets, Shockload, The Dead Hits, Skells, and Irresolved Records. All the fam is going to be in the house, and we're going to be there. And guess what, folks? We're going to the pre-party that you can't come to. How about that? We're going to have 1,000 drinks. and
That's
you
pretty
can't
rude.
Come. Nope. That's how you set the tier classes.
Okay. The scene in band though. if I may. I know you're finishing up the show.
No, bro.
But,
you have the floor, killer.
The scene is everything that I've always wanted.
It's
In Vancouver
unbelievably
right now.
It's unbelievably supportive.
Tim will tell you the same thing.
Yep.
Because when I first met Tim, it was a couple of years ago, right around actually, because the Corps just had their 2-year anniversary like a month and a half ago or something, or 2
Congratulations.
months ago. And but I was talking to Russian Tim at Punk Rock Karaoke that I went with Luke Meat.
Yeah, which he hosted
And he just
for a while.
is
Yeah.
so good. I got like 3 of them right. It's amazing. It's
Hello,
so
hello.
hard.
Yeah.
Hello. But anyways, but he had lots of, and it's just like, hey, nice to meet you, blah, 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 whatever. Chatted minimally. Then the next time, like, what's your band about? What's going on? These are my favorite bands. He's like, oh, that's great. Those are my favorite bands. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And then very, very, just by accident, just by playing shows, all these other bands start showing up. Like Troy from the McKenzies was like, my buddy Ben plays in this band called ATD. I think you'd really like them. I was like, cool, I'll go to a show. I went to that show. That was the first time I saw You Big Idiot. Went to both, like, ATD fucking ruled, You Big Idiot fucking ruled. I was like, you guys are like my 2 favorite bands in Vancouver right now.
So good, yeah.
What's going on? Then, like, just meeting everybody else, seeing the Greatest Sons play, seeing Anthems play, seeing
fucking love Greatest
Shockload
Sons.
play, seeing like all these guys, seeing Contra Code play. Like, I remember I saw them at the Railway, and I was like, hey, can I buy an album off you? Like, can I please do that? And he was like, okay. I was like, no. This is fucking. You guys sound like Bigwig, and Bigwig is one of my favorite bands. And I was like, you guys rule. This is amazing. And everything that's happening right now, and everybody's kind of coming together, and it's, oh man, forever playing music is just, I want to be part of a scene, and it's happening right now.
I had the opportunity to discuss with Tim when we were setting up these shows. This is like last week, this week, and next week's shows before the festival, and because we're like promoting this in a way that, like, it's kind of funny. We were talking off air. It's like the funny thing about this show is, like, this shit will sell out, like, without, like,
Totally.
It's funny to say that and know in your heart without a doubt it will 100% show up. Like it'll definitely sell out. Like, for sure, we'll be there. We'll be in house, but. Like, you guys should definitely jump on it. We're going to be throwing event tickets in the description of the episode and the clip on Facebook as well, if you guys want to check that out. But I think you should know this. When we were talking about this show being put together, Russian Tim and I had kind of a moment on the phone where we were discussing things, and I told him, I won't lie, I'm self-aware enough that I know that I joke around enough, and I exaggerate things.
You're a piece of shit. Yeah, you're right.
Comedically as a piece of shit, like C-Mart says.
Get it on my diary.
Yeah. Like, I do it enough that I know that like my level of explanation sometimes is taken like almost like not seriously, because I'm just like so joking all the time. But I will say this: there is a 100% feeling in my heart when I think about the scene, and by that I mean this particular scene, the punk scene in Vancouver right now. There is a particular feeling about this moment in this era right now where this is something that people live their whole lives to be a part of, and you don't realize it because you're in it. You don't realize that you're actually living it until it's already done. So I'm trying to like explain to people, I'm like, you guys don't get it. Like, curated shows like this where like there's 10, 12 bands that are like
12 bands.
Motherfucking back to back to back to back to back to back like that, where it just lays out just insane lineups where everyone is talented, everyone's a motherfucker, everyone is just like the top at their game, like they're just murdered, like the best.
There's no bad bands that are playing.
That's
this
what I'm
thing.
saying.
I think I forgot to mention Anteater as well too, because they're awesome.
Anteaters, they're on the bill, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Greatest
Sons couldn't.
That's right. They're not on the bill, but Anteater's going to be like, Greatest Sons is included in this conversation for sure.
Absolutely.
But
Ellesmere as well too.
Ellesmere as well. Ellesmere is playing for sure.
No, I know, but I'm saying I don't think I mentioned them in my last little rant off.
It's
so.
okay. I think G-Tone's playing bass for them, actually.
That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm
I
talking
don't want to
about.
break because that seems biased. Like I'm just paying whatever. But my main point being
Great
that,
band.
like, in the scene right now, there hasn't been this point. I think in a long time where you can say like every single show you go to that's under the Rocket from Russia banner is going to be a fucking barn burner, like the best show you can possibly go to. That's what I'm trying to say. And
It's all like-minded people.
right.
And I know that sounds weird, especially in like this day and age. But having that many like-minded people, basically, it's about being inclusive and not exclusive.
that's it.
And
that's exactly
there's
it.
no other scene that I've ever found where that is an actual thing,
Mm-hmm.
where it doesn't matter what you look like, who you are, fucking what you do. You come to hear live music and everybody's like, cool, man. And that's it. Do you want to watch some live music? Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And that's it. And the people that don't want that, the people that hang their noses a little too high in the air,
Mm-hmm.
they're not welcome.
Not at all. And anything, they're actually repelled by it because they,
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, which
Stay
is
the
good.
fuck
Yeah.
away because we don't want you there.
Good. Yeah.
Fuck off.
They're so repelled by it because the natural energy of it is just repelling. Like they don't get it because it's such an inclusive environment. And that's what I'm trying to say is like it's not just like the bands are curated so well and that the people putting on the show like promotionally are. It's not that it's just that it's so handled so well. It's the people that go to the actual shows. The patrons
amazing.
of the show are so supportive of music, and we couldn't be more thankful for you guys to do so. So that being said, make sure you get your tickets. It's gonna sell out. Don't fuck around.
Don't wait.
Oh shit, Dan
Don't wait.
Garrison. If people can follow you online, how can they do so if they're so inclined to?
Like via the core,
Go ahead. At your
the
bequest.
Facebook,
The Facebook.
the core 2814. That is the sector where Earth lies in DC Comics.
Yup.
Oh,
That's
true.
why it's the core.
I love this style right now.
If you call the core the corpse, I won't be mad. You're just wrong, and that's totally okay. I understand. It's a
Rocket-
confusing word, but it's called the core. Core 2814. That's CORPS.
I think if you go to episode 84 of Intergalactic Interviews, you will find Russian Tim and I have an excellent debate about whether or not it's the core or the corpse. I think.
Is
so.
that an ESL thing?
I think it's. Yeah, and to be fair, he's like, it's the core.
No, but it's 99% of people.
Absolutely.
You read something that says CORPS, you want to say the corpse.
In the description of this, I will be saying the core, and I will write it accordingly. Pronounced like.
Accordingly.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Yes.
What about Real McKenzies? You guys are just a brand new startup, so like I want
It's a new project, I guess we've been working on. I guess, but
I hope
Yeah.
it turns out.
yeah, I hope it happens. I hope it happens.
I love your attitude, brother. I really do. I seriously, I love your attitude so much. That being said, C-Mart, how can people follow you if they're so inclined?
Not a thing. But I do have to ask, can we not give away some tickets?
maybe.
Can we get two? Can we just buy two and give them away on the show?
We could do that, but I'll tell you right now, Russian Tim told me he's so concerned about this shit selling out that here's what
But
he
I
said.
thought if we're-
his
I
exact
don't know.
words to me was like, I'm so concerned about people not being able to buy tickets that always go to the show that I don't want to even give away tickets. So we're not
okay.
doing any ticket
Okay.
giveaway.
Okay.
But
Okay.
he did say he'll give away a Rocket from Russia t-shirt, which is
Okay, I like that.
ass.
I like that. Okay.
Also,
your size, whatever, yeah.
also as well too. When I was in Vegas, I called Russian Tim, and I was just like, "Hey, man, I think we should do a compilation CD because almost every single band that is playing in this has released an album this year or is thinking about it,
Yup.
and all have that. So there's going to be a compilation album of this show from
Ooh,
all
that's fun.
unreleased material.
Shut the fuck up. Are you breaking this news right now?
I am. This is
This isn't
You
October
Big Idiot.
news.
This is Anthems. This is The Core. This is ATD. This is fingers crossed. Isotopes will put one of their new songs on. Fingers crossed. Contra Code will put it on one of their new songs. Like everybody's got some new stuff.
Yes,
and
that's pretty bad.
and
That's a sick deal.
that will be taken care of by the end of the week. Actually,
You're going to have to get Ev Ock on the phone. See what he
Ev-Ock.
said.
Ev-Ock, is that a handle he goes by now?
I threw
don't
that
know.
at him
I think
last
you
week.
did it.
Yeah, I threw that at him last week, and he's like,
if he needs some sunflower seeds, I'm his guy. But besides that,
yeah, he's like, that is the first time anyone's ever called me that, and I was like,
Ev-Ock.
I was like, what's up, you're Ev-Ock.
Ev-Ock.
That being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be subscribed, if you want to subscribe to us, we would love if you would go ahead and do so. Go to iTunes and search us, Intergalactic Interviews. We're also available on YouTube and Stitcher and SoundCloud, I guess. But I would mostly go to YouTube or iTunes and Stitcher and check us out. Leave us a review if you're so inclined. We are very appreciative of you, sir, Dan Garrison, coming to spend some time with us. I would love if you come back and join us after you return from your next trip.
Anytime. I'll be back in October.
I will be saving a seat for you in my condo to watch
For Halloween.
House of Horror. Absolutely. Marathon. You want to do it. Other than that being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. We will see you all next week. Bye.